Hi, this is DIETRA KELSEY, host of Sister Talk, televised live Saturdays at 2 p.m. on MNN1. On Sister Talk, we feature beautiful, intelligent sisters and brothers too, from the world of entertainment, politics, music, health and wellness, and so much more. Watch Sister Talk, televised live Saturdays at 2 p.m. on MNN1. Sister Talk, we're more than just talk.
Sister Talk.
Welcome to Sister Talk TV show. I'm your host, DIETRA KELSEY. Today is April 9th, 2016, and next week will be the New York primaries. Who will you vote for? Remember, you can always call in at 212-757-1393. To join me to talk about this hot topic is, across from me, is Star Davis, phenomenal actress and editor-in-chief of her own magazine, You Can. Sitting next to me right now is Brittany Jackson. Brittany Jackson is a project manager, and both are here to talk about who they're supporting and why. Let's start with Star Davis. You're supporting Bernie. You feel the burn. You feel the burn. You tell me why you feel the burn.
I guess to sum it up, I think he gets it. And I think he gets it from different perspectives. So he understands what it's like to not have a lot of money, to be working class, to be the other 90%. And he also has been in politics for a very long time, so he knows the game. And I think that wide range is what makes him a very good president, would make him a very good president for this country. I agree with a lot of his policies that wealth should be more evenly distributed. I believe that we should concentrate on the infrastructure of this country as opposed to going on a lot of unnecessary wars. I do not believe that the United States should be the world police, for lack of better words. And I agree that you have to pay people a certain amount per hour to keep up with the cost of living. And while Bernie may not be, as we were talking earlier, maybe to some people the most eloquent on how he says it, I do like that he is bringing this campaign and he's bringing people's thought processes more to the left and more to taking care of people in the country and distributing the wealth and resources more evenly.
Okay, how about yourself? You're
I'm with
Hillary.
her. Yeah, I'm with her. So I feel that, in my opinion, Hillary Clinton is the most qualified, and also the person who has the most strategic plan to actually get the things done that she says she's going to do. So I feel that with regards to the policies in terms of things she supports with regards to education, immigration reform, women's rights. Those things are the things she's been a long-time advocate and supporter for and has a track record proven so, but also in terms of being in that executive position, being able to not only build upon what Barack Obama has successfully done, but being able to take it to the next level with a strategic plan and vision. For my, and I'm not anti-Bernie. I am a fan of a lot of the things that he is striving and says that he wants to do. I just don't see the substance in how he's going to actually execute it. And that's my biggest challenge is I don't see the structure to actually how these things are going to get done, the accountability for what happens after these things get done, because there's repercussions for a lot of things that happen. So what is that plan, and what's the detail for that plan, and how is it actually going to go about?
Hey, that's a legitimate comment. What do you say, Star? I mean, what do you say?
I think it's very legitimate. The only thing, as far as having a strategic plan, there is not always. I don't think Bernie Sanders is totally willy-nilly and saying that he would go there and disrupt everything. But I do like his judgment. I do like that he voted against the Iraq War. And Hillary, with her years of experience of being a first lady and being a senator, voted for that war, which was catastrophic for this country's economy. I do like, too, that, well, I would say this. I don't believe that those who are in power, that those who are establishment, are so willing to give up that power or so willing to make change. So I agree with the revolution aspect of Bernie Sanders, that you got to shake stuff up to change it, because if not, it would be just more of the same if you don't shake it up.
But let me go back to what you were saying about the vote for the Iraq War. And there are a number of people who put in the vote to go to war who have since learned after the fact that it was not the best choice to make. But also take into account that Hillary was a New York senator at the time. So the impact of 9/11 and what that was for the city. And this is just a hypothetical that I've thought about. What would that have looked like if she didn't support it? So in the mindset of at the time, with the information that we had, that was a choice that was necessary to make. So did he have foresight into it? Absolutely. Were there people who saw that that was the proper solution to take at the time and they took it? Yeah. Is there room for growth? And I think that's often something that candidates aren't allowed. We don't allow political candidates room to make mistakes or room to have made the choice that was the best choice for the time. And through time, through evolution, give them room to say, hey, you know what? The choice that I made in 2001 was not the choice that I would make today.
Let me interject with Bernie. And I said this before. Bernie just got here. He just got here, and we don't know anything about him. Do you think that's the reason that he's pretty much lagging behind Hillary Clinton?
I do. He didn't just get on. He got on the national scene. He just got on the national scene. But he's been in politics for a very long time.
Right.
And he has a track record.
Well, post Hillary Clinton has been
on the national stage.
And we've seen her. We've seen her ups and her downs. Bernie, again, he's just new. All we know is civil rights movement. Then there's a big gap to 2016.
Well, there's civil rights movement. There's support for gay issues. There's support for women issues. There's support for economic issues, and that working people should be able, like I said earlier, to make a living wage to go up with the cost of living. So Bernie Sanders has always made really compelling arguments that are very much in favor of working class people. He just has not had that national stage light that Hillary has had.
Okay.
I agree very much with a lot of things he says. He connects. And to me, that is very important. And I think if you are going to be the president of the United States, you have to be able to connect with people who have a lot and people who don't have a lot.
Okay.
And that's what I think he can do.
But is it, and this is where I draw a disconnect. Is it connection or is it just riles up? Because for me, there's a lot of talk, and he does very well with his crowds and his speeches, so I don't know how much more there's a connection, more as there's much as inspiration. And inspiration, while it is important, you also still need substance to back it up. So in regards to, I think it is important. I think it is, what you said, it is great to have great ideas. As president, you should at least have some sort of plan for how you're going to get things done that you are telling people that you're going to do and that you represent. Because if you get in there day one and then you find out that, oh, I really can't do these things. I didn't know that I couldn't go about it this way, or I can't do it in the time that I told you I would do it. There have been a number of things he said he would do within his first year, within his first 100 days. And if you notice the Daily News article that came out the other day when he was actually put on the spot and asked, how would you do this? And with these banks, what would you do with the banks and what would you do with the employees of the banks? There's no substance to those answers. It's a lot of roundabout rhetoric.
Well, one thing I like about him, and I understand what you're saying, Brittany, because I didn't read the article, but I heard about it. What I do like about him is that he might not have the specific plan, which there are always detours to a plan.
Absolutely.
Barack Obama, now President Obama, had certain things that he was not able to accomplish. But what I like about Bernie Sanders is that he keeps certain topics, building infrastructure, climate change and the effect it has on the environment, gay rights, definitely African American and people of color causes. He keeps those in the forefront. So while he may not know exactly how to do it, I believe it's much more of an important topic. Those are much more important topics to him that he keeps in the forefront.
Hey, something interesting happened. I believe it was a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday. Black Lives Movement really bum rushed, so you could say protested Bill Clinton. Did you hear about that? Saying that he was responsible for really trying to destroy the black communities with this crime bill.
Mass incarceration. Mass incarceration.
So, when you think of Bill, you think of Hillary. You think of Hillary, you think of Bill. Hey, let me know, and you all know also, tell me, do you think Hillary should be blamed or be part of that decision that Bill Clinton made? That Bill Clinton made?
Okay.
Personally, I do not. Now, she was First Lady at the time, and she did speak out in support of it. I wouldn't directly associate her with it, and if you're going to associate, if someone chooses to, Bernie also put in a vote for that bill. And he has also said, just much like Bill said also when he countered the speech, was that it's, at the end of the day, I think often, and I'm guilty of it too, we do forget that we have our ideals. Politics are politics. There's a lot of compromise. There are a lot of things that they have to sacrifice in order to get things done. So in the same way Bernie said there were things in that bill that he absolutely opposed, Bill said the same thing. In order to get the things through in terms of increasing police efforts.
But we're talking about the destruction of a human being.
Right.
Yeah. We're talking about that was that's a heavy decision.
Should she be blamed? I won't say she should be blamed, but there again is my reason for thinking she's not really connected. Because when somebody brought up that, I believe it was Don Lemon during one of the debates, and she said, I made a mistake.
Whoa.
Okay, it was a mistake. It was a really, really costly mistake to thousands of families. So that's almost simplifying it. It was like, okay, you made a mistake. I feel like she acknowledged making a mistake because she was called out on it.
212-757-1393. Love to hear your thoughts on the candidates, Hillary or Bernie. Hey, let's move on to Trump. We're going to get back to Hillary and Bernie also. Let's get on to Trump.
No,
yeah, I have to give it to Hillary and Bernie. They are in New York, and they are making their moves. They're going to the churches. Bernie just went to his whole hometown, Brooklyn, and all that. But Trump, it's like he's a speeding train that can't be stopped.
A freight train.
Yeah, freight train, and he is knocking things over, and he cannot be stopped. And what is so crazy and so weird about it is his comments about women.
About everything.
And everything. And he's still getting this momentum. Yeah. And he said, what you all doing, the media, the protests, Black Lives Matter, you're doing is energizing the campaign. That's campaign. And actually, he's right. What's your thoughts on that, Trump?
He's energizing his campaign because he's so entertaining and blunt and just to the point. And I think things like that make people feel good because it makes you laugh and chuckle and talk about it afterwards. So I think he gets a lot of attention because of that. I also think he gets a lot of attention because he's learned how to tap into the frustrations of a lot of people today who are really frustrated with how things are going on, who, you know, they say, wait a second, what about immigrants coming into this country? These are certainly not my views, but I've heard Trump supporters say, why do we have immigrants coming into this country when there are people here who are not doing well? Take care of the people here. So he touches on that. He touches on, now one thing, you know, he's not really as conservative as he tries to say he is. So he also says, yeah, I think rich people should pay more taxes. You know, so some people resonate with that.
He said that? I did not know that.
Some people resonate with that. But he's touched into the pro-America, you know, we got to stay strong kind of feeling. And people just really, really feel that. And I think it's because of that.
And I think that, and I absolutely agree with that. But I think he also, in addition to that, there's a level of fear that he plays on. And I think many Republicans do. There's a level of fear in this otherness that's created with regards to immigration or even women. Like there's an otherness of anything that they disagree with that we have to just stop completely. So yeah, absolutely, he has done it in a way where it's a lot of bravado around it, and because he has his own money, he doesn't have to answer to anyone. And in fact, the Republican Party has set up super PACs to stop him. But
you know,
yeah, so he's able to just kind of just go and not be accountable for anything in any fashion. There's no need to apologize, and that appeals to people because it's the bravado, there's also the pride, quote unquote pride, in his speech that people associate with being an American. The need to not have to apologize, which, you know, is not, you know, it doesn't fit in all.
212-757-1393, 212-757-1393. Any Trump supporters out there? I must add that we did reach out to some Trump supporters, but we could not negotiate an agreement. So we just let it ride. So I'm hoping that a Trump supporter that's watching the show will call in and tell us why you're supporting Trump. You know, it's amazing how Trump is saying all these bad things about people, and the more he does this, the more momentum he gets. However, I must say, he saw his polls drop when he offended. Women should be punished. Women should be punished if they have an abortion.
In the space of, pro-life, pro-choice, you have your own agreements on how it should be done, and they're handling that legislatively, where he's talking about a punishment. So that's threatening all around, because you leave a very wide rhetoric open to what punishment means.
Right. We have a phone call. Caller, you watch a Sister Talk TV show. Say hi to my guest, Star Davis, and Brittany Jackson, and me, of course, DIETRA. What do you have to say?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Basically, a couple things I want to say quickly. When Obama ran, me personally, I voted for him because he was black. That's me being honest with myself. Now, there are going to be women that are going to vote for Hillary because she's a woman. So let's just be realistic. That's just what's going to happen. Trump, I think, is put out there. I think the establishment puts him out there with all that rhetoric to evade the real issues, like why so many people don't want to snitch, supposedly because so many blacks are being slaughtered in these housing projects. And so Trump is just out there just to keep us off focus. And the fact that he's being allowed to do this says a lot about the country we live in.
All right, thank you. Thank you for calling in. 212-757-1393, 212-757-1393. Love to hear your thoughts on these potential candidates. How about Kasich? Should he just drop out? I mean, he's hanging in there. He feels that he is the only one who can beat Hillary Clinton. He can't even beat, Trump.
I agree with him. I mean, in terms of being moderate, from a moderate stance, because what may happen if it comes down to Hillary, probably will happen, not even may. Hillary and Trump, she will pull in a number, or I think she will pull in a number of moderate voters, people who may be even more Republican leaning than Trump will, because at some point, even now, it's divided. It's very divided, and the bravado, a lot of the outlandish commentary, I think people do not want to be associated with, and I think she'll pull them in. You'll have a mix of people who just won't vote, period, but some of them she will appeal to.
Let's go back to, I meant to go back to what the caller said, that Trump is a distraction. Do you think that, because in the beginning, we ignored Trump. Yeah. We thought it was a publicity stunt. And I sort of thought so too. I even thought he couldn't make it. Now he's in too deep. He's like, wait a minute.
He's like drunk with power now.
Drunk with power. This is something I got to do. I mean,
did he run before? He's talked about running a number of times. So I think it was the kind of thing everybody's like, okay.
Yeah.
And it got away from the party, because the party's not happy about it.
No, they're totally not happy about it. I don't think he was put up there to be, I understand part of what the caller was saying, but I don't think he was put up there to be a decoy. I think he's being used as a decoy now. But he got in there because of his own, he wanted to make a go of this, and he probably wasn't sure it would go this far, but it did, and he's certainly not going to stop now. As far as Kasich goes, though, I do think Kasich probably poses he's probably the biggest threat, I think, to the Democratic nominee, who I hope is Bernie Sanders. But as far as all of the polls have said, Quinnipiac, specifically with that, which I think is like the gold standard of polls, he does pose the biggest threat. John Kasich does. So it's interesting that he can't win in his own party. But if you face him up against either Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, he is the biggest threat. But I still think that Bernie Sanders is going to be the next president of the United States.
How about yourself?
No, I don't.
You don't think so? Caller, you watch the Sister Talk TV show. This is DIETRA. What do you have to say, and what's your name, and where are you calling from?
Janet, I'm calling from Manhattan.
Hi, Janet. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Okay.
You had asked people to call in if they were for Donald Trump.
Yes.
And I am. And I first wanted to discuss the abortion issue that came up with him. I think when Chris Matthew asked that question, he just wasn't prepared. And, of course, he should have been, but he wasn't. But I will say that he is very reasonable as far as being pro-life, because he believes in, if the mother's life is at risk, or incest or rape, that they should be allowed to have abortion. Whereas Mr. Cruz, I know that he doesn't believe in abortion for incest or rape. I'm not sure about the mother's health, but I don't understand how any woman who, has a 12-year-old daughter or granddaughter could possibly ever vote for Mr. Cruz under those circumstances.
Yes.
And I wish that would be brought out more, where someone would ask Mr. Cruz about that question.
Carla, can I ask you one question? Why do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, I support him because he is for legal immigration. And I think that's very important. Because when you have illegal immigration or the border's not secure, we have a terrible heroin problem in this country, even up in Vermont and New Hampshire, because it just pours in from the border and spreads around the whole country, which is really ruining our country.
Okay.
In addition, if you see what's happened in England or in the European countries that have let immigrants in without vetting them, I mean, they have terrible problems there, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but
Yes.
I think that he's trying to prevent that from happening by vetting the people very well before we let them in, and I think it's very reasonable.
Okay. Janet, thank you for calling, and do call in again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. What do you think about her comments about Trump? That's one of the reasons why he's still in the game and
For immigration?
leading. Yeah, one of the reasons. I mean, is he speaking the people's language? Shut the borders down. Build the big pretty wall.
He's speaking to fear. He's speaking to a fear-based tactic in a response to immigration. So is there a matter of figuring out a better way to citizenship? Absolutely. Is a wall the way about it? No.
Almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. We will not accept a situation where the 20 wealthiest people own more wealth than the bottom half of America. We are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top. In America, people should not have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to get by. And then after all of that, 58% of all new income goes to the top 1%. That's wrong. In this country, we can and will create a first-class public school educational system.
We showed a video of Bernie, and we want to be fair, so we are going to show Brittany
Thank you.
a video of Hillary Clinton. So here we go.
This country belongs to all of us, not just those at the top. Not just to people who look one way, worship one way, or even think one way. America prospers when we all prosper. America is strong when we're all strong. And we know we've got work to do. But that work is not to make America great again. America never stopped being great. We have to make America whole. We have to fill in what's been hollowed out.
Wow, during the video break, these sisters up here were saying some great stuff. So briefly, we're going to say this before we move on to another topic. Briefly, the caller called in, Janet called in and said that she was voting for Trump, but supporting him because of the immigration, the problem here in the United States. What did you all say during the break about Trump supporters? And I wish the Trump supporters would have came.
I mean, it's a very, very important topic, and it's a very sensitive topic. But to be the president of the United States, there are also many more things that you're going to have to do and deal with besides immigration. And while he has a very strong stance on that, and a lot of people support that, there are just many more facets to the job of being president of the United States than fighting immigration.
Yeah, absolutely. And with regards to what she was saying about his comment on women being punished, and she mentioned that he was caught off guard, to me that's so alarming, because even in being caught off guard, that should not be your response. You know, that speaks to, if you're being caught off guard, typically you just shoot from the hip, you speak from your beliefs. So that shouldn't even be an option for being caught off guard. You're caught off guard, you say, I don't know, I need, you know, no comment, but women should be punished.
Okay.
Yeah, and he should have been prepared.
Absolutely.
He should not have been even caught off guard with a question like that,
Yeah. Okay.
running for president.
Yeah, especially as a Republican candidate, it's a very hot abortion is a very hot topic.
Okay, let's go back to 2008. You all were talking about when Hillary ran for the president campaign, president seat. Let's talk about what you all were saying during the video break.
Down and dirty.
Down and dirty.
That everything but the kitchen sink campaign she tried to throw to, like I said, going again, and I know I sound like a broken record about the disconnect, but one of the things that Bill Clinton had said at that time that she did not correct him about was, he looked at Barack Obama and said, a few years ago, this guy would have been getting us coffee. Where was Hillary Clinton to say, wait a second, you take that back. You don't say that. She didn't say that.
Okay. Brittany? Well, you don't know.
No, yeah, that sounds to be very hard to believe that wasn't.
I heard that, but I didn't read that.
Or taken out of a different context.
Okay.
Or not even say taken out of context, but like the sound bites. I'm trying to figure out where, because I don't remember that really coming up. And
Bill Clinton said that, but she didn't jump on that right away.
We have a phone call, but go ahead.
Okay, this is one thing that I get very curious about. My fellow Hillary supporters and I often discuss is that she's often very much associated to her husband's policies.
Right.
And it becomes up. And one thing with her being a woman that has been a very underlying undertone of this is very misogynistic. Because how many other candidates are that closely linked to their spouse? So in any regard, whether they're what their spouses did, professionally, publicly, no one else has to ride on the same coattails that Hillary does because of Bill.
Right, but nobody else was first lady who's now running for the president of the United States,
Absolutely.
too. So it's not about her being a woman. It's about her being a woman who is in this very unique position in which no other candidate has been before.
Absolutely.
So no other first lady has run for president. So she's going to have to take some hits as being the groundbreaker.
Absolutely,
in this case.
But in being first lady, in terms of administration, she's representative of that space, not necessarily, in his administration in that reflective garb, in terms of policy, should she be that tightly associated with it? Because also, if you're going to put her on first lady, you should also link her just as close to the Obama administration for which she was hired for.
I think it speaks to what you're saying, that, not just Hillary Clinton, but the whole campaign, the whole candidates. The question is, are they disconnect? Do they have a connection with the people and so forth? I heard a called in. Well, I talked to. I was looking at TV. It was another show, and the caller was basically saying that where were these people in the '90s when people were getting killed? Nobody was coming to their neighborhoods, talking to them. Now they are, but they are gentrified. I think that's the big question that people of color, particularly Black people, that we're just kind of tired of the rhetoric, the showboating and all that. What about just rolling up your sleeves and just going into the heart of the problem?
Well, I think this is something for both candidates. So, in the 90s, Hillary's first, depending on where she's first lady. Bernie was either in the Senate or he was mayor, so they had their own.
He was a senator.
So he has local efforts to focus on.
Okay, go ahead. Well, go ahead, finish that.
So the local efforts to focus on. I think we put a lot of emphasis, even across for any presidential candidate, there's a lot of emphasis that goes on local efforts when essentially we need to have that focus on our local officials too.
I have to wrap it up. I really enjoyed you all being here, and you have to come back. You have to come back. You are well informed, and like I said, I don't know who I'm voting for yet, but you all have.
Vote for Hillary,
okay.
Let me tell you, if you want stuff done, if you want somebody who is connected to our community and to the communities of working people, I would absolutely say vote for Bernie Sanders.
Hey, we have to end the show. This is DIETRA KELSEY, host of Sister Talk TV show. Thank you for calling and thank you for watching. And watch us next week, every Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. Wishing you peace, love, and stay in the light.
I know what you're missing, Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk, sister, 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 Sister Talk, sister, sister, sister.